Hey everyone, welcome to the Swetlana AI podcast. Before we dive in, please make sure to like and subscribe if you enjoy our content. Today we have an incredibly timely deep dive for you.
We really do. It has been a wild few days.
It is February 28th, 2026. And we are looking at this massive central paradox of the AI industry right now. On one hand, you have a major AI company effectively banned by the US government for refusing to build surveillance tools.
Right. And then, mere hours later, their biggest rival signs a massive defense contract claiming to hold the exact same ethical red lines. It is total whiplash.
Exactly. So our mission in this deep dive is to unpack the source documents, the timeline, and the technical architectures behind this fracture. We are talking about the Defense Production Act, the China asymmetry, and how the industry just split wide open over national security.
Because this isn't just a simple contract dispute anymore. This is the moment the rubber met the road. We have all been talking about AI safety in the abstract for years, but this week, the government forced the labs to choose sides.
To really understand this split, you have to look at this setup. Let's go back to mid-2025. The Pentagon awarded $200 million prototype contracts to basically everyone. Anthropic, OpenAI, Google.
And xAI. Yeah, and at the time, Anthropic actually had a huge lead. They were already cleared for classified networks via Palantir.
Right, but then the administration changed. In January 2026, Secretary of War Pete Hegseth issued new guidance demanding AI be available for all lawful purposes.
Which is really just government speak for stop telling us how we can use your tech. Drop your private ethical restrictions.
Precisely. And that triggered the climax we saw this week, specifically between February 24th and the 27th. Hegseth gave Anthropic a hard deadline to drop their restrictions on mass domestic surveillance and fully autonomous weapons.
And Anthropic's CEO refused. He held the line.
He did, and the backlash was immediate. President Trump posted on Truth Social, banning Anthropic from federal use. And then the DoD designated him a supply chain risk.
We should pause on that label for a second. Supply chain risk is the nuclear option. That is a label usually reserved for foreign adversaries like Huawei. It effectively nukes their ability to work with any federal contractor.
Yeah, it's a massive escalation.
Yeah.
And that is exactly what makes the next part so confusing. Literally hours after that designation, OpenAI announces they have secured the classified network deal.
Yes. And they claim they kept the same prohibitions on surveillance and autonomous weapons.
So how does one company get banned for saying no, and the other gets a lucrative contract for saying the exact same thing?
It seems to come down to technical architecture. This is the fundamental difference between constitutional AI and RLHF, or reinforcement learning from human feedback.
Anthropic uses constitutional AI, which means their safety rules aren't just a modular filter. They're baked deeply into the model's training weights. It structurally resists requests like track these protesters.
Right, and in a classified air-gapped cloud, you can't easily turn that off without breaking the model itself.
But OpenAI primarily uses RLHF. Their safety layers historically sit on top of the model, kind of like a system prompt.
So the inference here is that in a classified environment, OpenAI could agree to strip those layers away. They can technically comply with the government's demand for all lawful purposes. They found a way to say yes, where Anthropic's architecture forced them to say no.
But there are also theories about how they squared the ethical circle on paper. One is the cloud loophole. OpenAI bans hosting mass surveillance on their own cloud, but they might just allow the model to write the code for the government to run it on DoD servers.
Or there is semantic reframing. The DoD often defines autonomous as human supervised. If a human is watching a screen while an AI swarm eliminates targets, the DoD calls that human in the loop.
Well, Anthropic calls that an autonomous weapon. So OpenAI likely just agreed to use the DoD's dictionary.
It also feels incredibly personal, though. Hegseth called Anthropic's refusal a masterclass in arrogance, which suggests this wasn't just technical, it was highly political.
Right. By refusing to bend, Anthropic challenged the government's authority, while OpenAI, by negotiating, accepted it. And now Anthropic is suing over that supply chain risk label, but the damage is really already done.
Which leaves us with the 800-pound gorilla of a question.
If the government can selectively destroy a domestic company just for maintaining safety standards, do private red lines actually exist?
For when push comes to shove, is state power absolute? It is a terrifying thought for the industry.
It really is. Something for you to mull over as you watch this space. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive.